Hey guys, it is March, so that means it's time for my March TBR. This month's stack is going to be a somewhat smaller one as far as what I'm showing you guys because it's still a little bit unsettled. Fairy Tale Fortnight is going to be the first 2 weeks of April, which means a lot of my reading this month is going to be fairy tale related. But I don't necessarily know which fairy tales it's going to be. Partly that's because I want to just pick things up as they suit my mood, and I need to see how much time I'm going to have and how many reviews I'm actually going to be able to fit into the schedule. So I still have to kind of suss out all of that. It's also partly that I am waiting to find out how many review copies for Fairy Tale Fortnight are going to come in, because that's going to affect how many books I'm able to choose off of my shelves from the fairy tales I already own. So that hasn't really happened yet, and that kind of limits what I'm able to commit to for this month. So it's a very short stack, and then some kind of questions, a small viewer's choice for you guys. So enough babbling, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. What is likely the only non-fairy tale book of the month, though that could change, who knows, will be this month's Wednesday YA book club picks. Liz and I have an agreement that we get to choose the books for book club during our birth month, and March is mine. I kick the month off on the 1st. I got to pick this month's book, and I was feeling something quirky, maybe because I'm getting ready to head into Fairy Tale Fortnight and that sort of whimsy is calling me. But the book that I chose to go with is The Wee Free Men by Terry Pratchett. Now this is a bind-up. This has The Wee Free Men and A Hatful of Sky. We're only reading the first one, Wee Free Men, and I'm really excited about it. The way I chose it and the way I tend to choose things, especially when I can't make up my mind, which is most of the time, was I pulled off a big stack of books from my bookshelves and kind of read through the first few lines or paragraph or two from the very beginning of each one, and then I go with whichever one is calling me the most. This one I didn't want to put down. I've never read any of the Discworld series, though I've been wanting to, and I am very familiar with elements of it. I love the movie The Hogfather, so I know that whole kind of mythology and bits and pieces of Discworld in general, but I'm especially curious to start with these ones because I know it's the Tiffany Aching cycle, and I've heard really good things about that, so I think it will be a perfect March read for us. More about that on the blog on the first Wednesday of March. You can check it out and find out all the info of when we'll be doing our discussion, our live show for it, and all of that fun stuff. So I hope that if you have read it or have been wanting to read it, that you will join us this month and discuss it with us on the last Wednesday of March. And if you missed the discussion of Dark Triumph, I'm going to go ahead and link that because it was a lot of fun and we loved that book, so good times. Now that's likely to be the only non-fairy tale related book of the month. However, those of you that watched my most recent book haul or follow me on Instagram will know that the end of February was kind of like this avalanche of amazing bookish surprises, and so I have a lot of things that are calling my name right now and that sound really good, and I might not be able to resist and might have to cave in and read one of them. And if I do, chances are it's either going to be The Winter's Crime, which I'm not going to hold up because it's across the room and I can't get it, or more likely just because it'll be really quick and I'll be able to convince myself that I can work it in and still get everything done for Fairy Tale Fortnight, will be Lying Out Loud by Cody Keplinger. Having read Cody's books before in her writing, I know that I'll move through it really quickly and there's a good chance that it will set a good pace, so I might end up convincing myself to go ahead and put it in this month's stack even though I shouldn't, but I don't know if I have the willpower to wait for it, so we'll see. And everything else will be a fairy tale retelling or fairy tale related in some way. As I mentioned in my February pile, I will be reading Beastkeeper by Kat Hellison. I've just barely started it, so it was in the February pile and I was wanting to get it read then, but that just didn't happen. But I have started it, and it will be finished this month and talked about during FTF. I'm also going to try my damnedest to listen to Stitching Snow by R.C. Lewis. It's sometimes hard for me to get through audiobooks. First of all, I have to really connect with the narrator to stick with it, but also because I don't think of them the way I think of a physical book. It's the same problem I have with ebooks, actually. If I don't see it physically sitting there on my pillow when I go to bed at night, I just forget that I'm reading it or listening to it, and before I know it, a week's gone by and I haven't read anything. So it's sometimes hard for me to keep up with audiobooks, but I've been trying to convince myself to use it as an excuse to do chores, which I probably need to push in that direction anyway. But I figure I can kind of put it on, do my housework, and listen to it and hopefully finish it off. Gonna try, really gonna try. And for now, I'd say that's really it for the definite things that I'm pretty sure are going to be read in March. As I said, I'm going to wait and see what comes as far as review books. There are a number of fairy tale retellings and fairy tale related books that are going to be coming out right around the time of Fairy Tale Fortnight or just after, which means that it's perfect reviewing timeline for them. There are a number that I'm hoping to get my hands on so that I can let you guys know what I thought of them during the event. Until those come in or I have confirmation on them, I'm not entirely sure what the rest of it will be, but the fact of the matter is, even without them, I have many fairy tale books on my shelves that I can choose from. So here comes the sort of somewhat viewer's choice portion of the video. I have a couple of questions for you. I would like to do at least one video review during the 2 weeks of Fairy Tale Fortnight for you guys, and you can tell me a specific title if you'd like. But even more so, what I would like to know from you guys is whether you would like to have a video review of a traditional retelling, something very fairy tale-esque and kind of historical, or if you want something modern, or a bit non-traditional for fairy tale. And the second question for you is if you want a retelling of something that's well known, like Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, things like that, or if you want a retelling of something that is maybe a lesser known tale. So let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see, if you want something traditional or a little bit out there, and if you want something well known or something totally out of the box. And I will use that to help me make the decision of what else I choose to read in March. That is all for my very scattered and not pinned down TBR. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know in the comments what you are planning on reading in March and what you're really looking forward to. I will be back on Wednesday with my February vlog, and then we'll be following that up with my February rewind, where we'll look at what I thought of the books that I read in February. I will see you guys soon for those videos, but until then, thanks for watching. I'll chat with you in the comments, and of course, happy reading!